Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a truly fascinating look at the absolute mechanics of a romantic confession. Have you ever stopped to wonder what actually makes that heart-pounding, stomach-dropping moment work? While we're deconstructing the beautiful music video Majboor alongside an incredibly insightful analysis called The Silent Language of Devotion, we're going to break down the anatomy of how we literally bare our souls to one another.
Okay, let's dive into this. What makes a romantic confession truly unforgettable? I mean, it's something we've all likely experienced, or at least yearned for, right? That specific, overwhelming moment of ultimate vulnerability and human connection. But is it just about picking the right words, or is there a deeper, hidden, structural language at play when we finally tell someone how we really feel?
Well, this is exactly where that vulnerability begins. Take a look at this opening lyric from the song. Tell me honestly, are you truthful or am I lying? Every great confession kicks off with this intense, almost desperate quest for mutual honesty. It is the grounding wire. Before anyone can leap into the terrifying unknown of sharing their deep feelings, they absolutely need to know what is real between them.
Which brings us to our first section, Anatomy of a Confession, the framework of devotion. As we move into this breakdown, it becomes super clear that a genuine confession isn't just a spontaneous blurting out of words. According to the analysis, there's actually a structure here. We've got the 4 pillars of a confession: nonverbal understanding, vulnerability and mutual honesty, the power of proximity, and a plea for permanence. These 4 core elements are going to serve as our map for the rest of this explainer, guiding us step by step through exactly how a confession is built from the ground up.
Moving right along to our next section, the silent conversation, speaking without words.
I absolutely love this first pillar because it highlights that sometimes the most powerful things we communicate are entirely unspoken. When we look at nonverbal understanding, we see that a huge portion of a true confession happens totally beyond spoken language. It relies instead on intimate physical and emotional cues. It's what the analysis so beautifully calls a silent conversation with the eyes. We really need this theoretical framework in mind to grasp the magic of what happens next in the song.
Just listen to this lyric. If the words do not leave my lips, then please listen to my heart. This perfectly captures that intense reliance on the unspoken to convey true emotional depth. When verbal language fails, or, when the sheer shyness of the moment is just too overwhelming, the confession doesn't stop. It just shifts mediums. It essentially asks the partner to tune in to a completely different, much deeper frequency.
Let's compare how this builds. On one hand, you have the spoken confession, speaking your heart out with a shy verbal admission. But simultaneously, you have the unspoken confession happening, looking into their eyes, listening to the heart, having that vital silent conversation. Think about your own life for a second. How often do you rely on nonverbal cues when you're feeling incredibly vulnerable? These parallel languages are constantly working together to carry all that heavy emotional weight.
Which leads us to our next theme, vulnerability and proximity, the undeniable pull of physical presence.
Exploring this, we see how simple physical closeness directly fuels the immense courage required to be completely honest with someone. The analysis finds that the physical act of sitting together is absolutely central to the confession. It acts as the catalyst for truth. Proximity isn't just some minor, atmospheric detail playing out in the background. It is a fundamental requirement. You literally have to bridge the physical gap before you can bridge the emotional one.
Look at how the lyrics reinforce this exact idea. Listen to me. Come and sit here. I am sitting right next to you, my love. Throughout the song, there are these repeated lyrical requests for closeness. It emphasizes this inescapable, almost gravitational need to be physically near one another to feel safe enough to let the truth out.
So the crucial point is that we see this captured perfectly in the idea of being utterly compelled. It means being drawn to someone so strongly that you simply cannot bear to stay away, resulting in a magnetic physical and emotional pull. The song literally uses the phrase utterly compelled to describe why the singers can't stay away from each other. It is the physical manifestation of overwhelming vulnerability right there in action.
And what happens when that proximity and mutual honesty finally peak? Well, it culminates in this direct, yet beautifully hesitant verbal admission. I will shyly confess that I too have given you my heart. All of those silent conversations and the physical closeness we just looked at were simply building the safety net required to finally speak these very words out loud.
Now we move to our final section, a promise of permanence, building a lasting sanctuary.
We're transitioning into the final and, honestly, perhaps the most profound phase of the confession, which ultimately becomes a plea for permanence. The confession transforms into a request for a lifelong bond, offering sanctuary and mutual support. What's truly fascinating here is that the end goal of this moment isn't just to casually say, "Hey, I like you," and see what happens. No, it is an active petition to establish a permanent, secure emotional home with that person.
Now take me and make me yours forever, my soul, my beloved. Just let that sink in for a second. This represents the ultimate leap of faith. The absolute devotion being asked for here moves way, way past a simple romantic interest into total, unabashed spiritual surrender.
And it is immediately followed by this gorgeous promise, "May you remain the keeper of my secrets. I will be your cool, soothing shade." The reciprocal exchange happening here is incredibly powerful. That metaphor of the soothing shade perfectly represents the transformative sanctuary they are promising to become for each other. It's a promise of mutual protection and comfort from the harshness of the outside world.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. Next time you truly connect with someone, will you listen to what they say or what they leave unspoken? A true confession, as we've seen decoded today, requires a delicate, masterful balance of both. It's about being physically present, finding the courage to be vulnerable, and understanding that beautiful, silent conversation. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it gives you a fresh lens to reflect on your own relationships. Keep learning, keep watching, and always look for the unspoken.